Hello everyone, and back with a very similar start to last round, but now we are minus half a hook stage for Calamity. There was a incorrect perk brought, a banned perk, and that perk was Deja Vu. We kind of called it out beforehand, but this is the confirmation. Deja Vu was brought, and as a result, Calamity took minus half a hook stage. And that's all the housekeeping we need as we get into this very first chase against Hein. A very similar start to our last round.
Yeah, and we're actually going to be able to get the cigar value this time as opposed to the last round. You can really just see how much of a difference it makes when you're in chase and need to get that quick reload. Hello, Pedro. Beautiful shot from Volga, but once again, no cigar. But we'll still get the tag regardless. Such a beautiful shot, and Volga's going to be getting some more bullets and taking the chase over to the shack.
Yeah, and that Shack pallet is dropped relatively early. That is a very strong resource that Calamity will not have available later on in this game. And the Corrupt is still up. And we have Hein. Whoa! Max range snipe Volga. Just a day at the shooting range right now as Hein goes down. And that agitation is going to be a very quick first hook in the basement nonetheless.
Oh, and he's actually going for it as well. This is going to be devastating for Calamity at the start because it was such a quick down. Even though there's probably survivors split up across the map working on the objective, Volga is really just taking that confidence and saying, yep, I can put the survivor in the basement and just keep eyes on gens, keep eyes on the basement, and probably get one of the fastest eliminations possible. Really going for that speed run as we were talking about in the campfire chat.
I mean, and this is the confidence you play with as a veteran in DBDLeague. It's just, you take those shots because you know you can. And that is some of the most fun gameplay to watch.
Exactly right. But speaking of gameplay, we've got Laser about to pop the main building generator, as well as our Steve. That's Lectrin. I'm so sorry, Lectrin, but going to be a second generator popping as well in exchange for what's about to be a second stage onto Hein in the basement here. 2 gens on the board, and yeah, that's really going to be tough for Calamity.
Yeah, but I mean, you get the 2 gens, but Volga is sitting in the middle of so many other generators that he's just able to patrol with such ease. Just hold up the gun and suddenly they can't do anything in a shot onto Laser. That's the confidence I was talking about coming into this. And that was just an incredible shot. And Hein, I don't think, is getting off this hook anytime soon.
And I think Calamity is more and more starting to realize that as they are prioritizing the objective as opposed to going for the safe. And Pedro actually getting tagged in the distance here. Uh-oh, he's actually going in for the safe and might be able to get the trade-off. Oh, and he gets the trade-off because Volga missed the shot. That is so unfortunate, but Volga is still going to be able to work with this, though, and get the shot, or even just straight up the M1 down onto Hein. And he gets the gun onto Pedro. Is actually going for even more here.
And, oh, it's going to be so close. And he hits, no, the generator got in the way. But at the end of the day, you take that trade. Sure, you don't get a survivor out, but you still have good positioning. And Volga not going for the basement hook this time, instead of going for a Scourge hook to get that pain resonance value. And gonna just try and get someone off of these gens, get some damage done. And I'm sure there's a reason for it. I just don't understand it. I think the map pressure that you had there sitting in the middle of the map was just really good.
Oh, 100%. But what saddens me the most here is the fact that we weren't able to get that elimination onto Hein, though, managing to escape the clutches of Volga and get reset off in the distance to live to fight another trial. And now it's going to be Pedro's turn to get a bit of love here. So I believe we should be seeing some more generators getting completed in the distance as Volga is opting to go for a new tunnel out here after losing Hein. So poor Pedro is, I think, definitely going to be having a very fun trial today.
Well, I mean, looking at the perk build, just the game plan for Volga, you camp out Pedro, let them finish the generator so you get Noed, and then kill another survivor with the Noed, and that's 8 stages right there. And that's a very good win condition for Eonix on the survivor side.
Yeah, exactly. Because I believe even in our Deathslinger games from yesterday as well. Okay. That was another yet filthy shot from Volga coming out. Once again onto Laser. But the 4th gen does get completed in response to this. But with Laser not being able to go for the save anymore, it really makes me wonder. Pedro was the one working on this generator near the shack, and we still have Hein and Lactrin. Oh, they're doubling up on the gen over in the middle of the street. I think they're just going to let Pedro cook and try and get the 3-man escape and hopefully tank through the Noed.
Yeah, hopefully take through the Noed, but with the way Volga has been hitting these shots, it's going to be rough. And it looks like we do have Hein going in for the save, but can he even make it there? Ooh, Volga beautiful. Misses the shot. And Hein is going to be going down. Pedro gets away, but Hein's dead on hook, so you're going to lose Hein in the process. Same sort of results.
Oh, sorry.
And another pain res.
Yeah, because we had Hein hooked in the basement from the start, there was no pain res used on him. 2nd stage was forced onto Hein. Lactrin just barely dodging death there. And so that pain res that came out just at the end there, Hein gave up his life to get that unhook, expecting that final generator to get completed. But alas, that pain res came through.
And that is a huge turn of events, because now we're going to get into a chase with Lactrin, and that could be another fresh hook stage. And nice shot through the pallet. Just going to go for the cigar value. And the question is, where does Lactrin go at this point?
Yeah, the fresh hook survivors are definitely going to be our more valuable survivors here. Good read by Lactrin, though. Not going to get hit by that one, and manages to dodge out another lethal shot from Volga. At this point, though, Laser, I believe, is positioning in for the generator here. From what it looks to be, does manage to dodge out another shot there. And I'm starting to really worry that this gen is not going to get completed with the current health states of everyone on the team. Lactrin needing to mend in a very awkward part of the map where there is still a gen. Mend just came through. Pedro, Laser, both still injured as well. Stuck in the main building and other parts of the map. That is just a scary shot to have to see.
Yeah, Volga has so much pressure right now, because not only are all the survivors injured, but because of these sightlines on this map, Volga is able to keep them separated. We know where all the survivors are, and they aren't together. They aren't able to heal, and they can't really work on this generator that has so much progress. Oh, but it sounds like Pedro was getting to work on the generators, and another one gets completed. Adrenaline for Pedro, I think. I might be mistaken on that. And
that's exactly right, Will.
Now we have to see how this Noed comes in. If you're Calamity, you want Pedro to go down, just give the 1 hook stage, get the other 2 out. If you're Volga, you want anyone but.
I've been looking at this Noed spawn, though. Very conveniently plopped in between these 2 doors. We know, I believe Laser was positioned around the main building earlier in the trial. We see Pedro attacking this door near the water tower. And I think Laser was playing it very slow before going to this door and pre-leaving ever so early. As soon as the call comes that Volga's heading over towards the main building. You really love to see this.
Think we just heard a laser in the main building. Now, if you're Volga, you do whatever you can to get the survivor. And that is the shot, and that is a nice shot and a nice fresh hook for Volga. And Lactrin's leaving. I imagine Pedro's going to be leaving, or yeah, Pedro's going to be leaving. I was going to say maybe trade for the 1-for-1, but that's not really worth it. And that is going to be 8 stages for Volga. All the generators completed, and in general, just a really good performance from both sides.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. The only issue for Calamity right now is obviously having to deal with that point penalty, but it was just as you predicted, though, Will. The 8 stages to finish off this first trial here with that use of the Noed onto
My
laser.
predictions might be right.
Can't go wrong with it. You know, when Will's done his research, the results are going to be scarily accurate. But we're going to be getting the second half of this Slinger set set up right after this short break. All right, welcome back in, everyone, to the second half of this Deathslinger set with a Calamity on the killer side here, and with the point penalty and the result that we saw from the last game, if I had to guess, I believe the win condition is going to be, I think the 9 stages would get a win for Calamity for Laser. If not, anything below that would be Eonix taking the first set. But enough of that. Let's see how this first chase goes. Let's see what Laser has in store for us, and let's see if we see some similar shots to what Volga was going for.
Yeah, it looks, I think this is Swatter here we are chasing, and yes it is, and Laser looking to Laser looking to get a better performance than Volga, bringing a different set of add-ons. This is the cigar, and we do have the shot here on the Swatter. I'm not sure what that last add-on is. It's mangled when they break free, so you're slowing down that heal time. This is ensuring you have that pressure on the survivors at all times. Laser going for the shot through the well, and Swatter just making some misses. We have the mind game come in, but it doesn't get anything.
Yeah,
and...
no, very... Sorry.
No, it's fine.
How interesting
Swatter.
it is that Laser's going for the Honey Locust Thorn as opposed to running Sloppy Butcher. It frees up another perk slot to be able to run Ruin like what we're seeing here, and beautiful stuff.
Yeah, a very nice shot onto Arushi. Now you have 2 survivors in that deep wound state. 2 survivors who aren't really going to be able to do anything at the moment. We have Arushi running over to the gens, trying to avoid the other generators getting disrupted. Two generators down, not a single hook stage for Laser. Things are not looking too good for Calamity in this first set.
Yeah, the pressure is obviously going to be building up very quickly here, but a beautiful shot from Laser. I don't think he's going to be able to wrap around, though. Unfortunately, the pallet vault does happen, though. Laser should be able to get a reload and maybe get a shot here, because even without the prison keys, but without Ruin, it probably will be pretty tough. But the base kit reload speed is a little bit nicer, so the prison keys not being, you know, one of the add-ons to take, and hopefully we see it get the value that we're going for.
It looked like it was a little bit of bad pathing from Arushi there, ran straight into Laser, and that led to our first hook of the game. But 3 generators in. The gen pressure from Eonix is immense. You can feel it.
Oh, I'm feeling it now, Mr. Will, that's for sure. Arushi going up for hook stage number 1. Beautiful job by Ada here, getting the pallets done and a dodge of the shot from Laser here. That's exactly what you want to be seeing when you're playing for around an 8-stage win con. You don't want to be giving those tags. Thankfully, it's faster resets without Sloppy, but we need to survive this chase here. The unhook does happen onto Arushi across the way, and Laser will still have Pain Res and Noed to work with going in towards the mid to late game of the trial, and we'll be catching Ada out on this pallet.
Yeah, Koenigsegg kind of went for the same thing. You drop the pallet and you loop around it, but that just... It's dangerous with Deathslinger because he can get the shot on you, stop you from going over the pallet, and if he's close enough, he's just going to hit you over the pallet. That's exactly what happened there 2 times in a row. And that is going to be a second fresh hook stage and a second pain resonance, sort of taking back some of that pressure that the survivors had on these generators. And as you can see, the survivors are just around the map trying not to get caught out.
Now, if there's one thing about Slinger on Dead Dog, it's the little back and forths up on the top main building generator where your survivor's working the gen and your Deathslinger decides whether or not to go for that shot. It's a It's a nice, fun little ordeal, but sadly not going to be seeing it just yet. I believe that would have been Swatter going in for the save, and will make it healer. Sunshine is working on this water tower gen, using the firecracker nice and early to try and be able to break away to the more established tiles of the map. But Laser says nah, and still gets that shot through the water tower, taking the chase over towards the shack.
Oh my god, the max range follow-up shot. And Swatter comes in for the body block, and that's gonna be Sasua getting away. Swatter has been not been hooked. That first chase didn't result in a down. Swatter taking the M1, and it's gonna get a lot of distance off of it as Laser has to reload.
And not just reload, but even completely drop the chase as well. Going back to Shaq, getting rid of the pallet, and checking up on, I believe this gen has been checked up on him in a bit, so Laser's having a quick look and is probably going to find a cheeky swatter here. Mr. Jeff Johansson working on this gen around here. And, oh, actually, no, never mind. This is actually going to be Koenigsegg.
Yeah, it is. It's going to be Koenigsegg taking the chase over to the Shaq. Ooh, narrowly misses the shot there. And Koenigsegg could be getting a bit of distance. It looks like we have Urushi coming in for a body block. And Laser going for the shot around the corner. Just half a second too late. I believe this is Swatter that we are chasing here. It is, and we're just going for the edge map anti-tech. But Laser misses the shot. The jump into the locker buys some time for Swatter to get all the way into the corner of the map here. Finally goes down, but buys a lot of time for the rest of his team to finish this generator.
Wow, Eonix have really been coming out so strong in this first set. I think they're actually going to be able to get this final gen done before Laser interrupts it. It's going to be so close, but I think Laser gets here just in time. But at what cost? Not having an elimination as early in the trial as we saw Volga with last game. Laser obviously took a risk with bringing this build and bonk. Beautiful head on by Sasua. Gonna have to continue the chase around here. Laser does whiff the shot though, but Sasua was prepared for it and dodged preemptively. But the pickup does actually happen onto Swatter. Double vac bolt of the pallet, and that's gonna be, I believe this will be a fresh hook onto Sasua though, so we might be able to recover, stopping that final gen from getting completed.
Yeah, especially if you get the pain resonance, which it looks like Laser might be going for. If you're Sasua, they finished the last generator off in the distance, so the pain resonance doesn't matter, but that is a fresh hook onto Sasua. As I was saying, we do have the note, I just want to make that clear. If you're Sasua, I don't think Laser was actually going to check that locker. I think you could have just hidden that locker and let Laser walk by. And the Noah gets cleansed.
Wow.
The Noah gets cleansed. This is looking worse and worse for Calamity, as Eonix is just running away with this set. Sasua had a bit of an unsafe pallet, but as he's already been hooked, it doesn't really matter. You just don't want Swatter to get hooked here. And the doors are already getting opened.
Yeah, I think it doesn't come with any surprise at all that Eonix is going to be able to clutch up this first set here after a really, really impressive performance with Volga on the killer. It's only going to be, I believe, a 5-stage for Laser as opposed to the 8-stage we saw in the last game. So Eonix getting the first set point on the board.
This is what I was talking about. Oh man, it feels good to be right about my predictions for once. I will never be right again. But it is going to be, like you said, Eonix taking away set one in a rather dominant fashion, might I add. And we're going to see if they can carry that momentum into this next set, the Clown set, right after the break. Welcome to set number 2 of 3, maybe, potentially. Eonix is up 1-0, and we're heading into the Clown set. We have Hein playing the Clown for Team Calamity, and we spot a survivor at the main building, and Hein just looking for someone else. And we do find Sasua here. This is going to be, the firecrackers used relatively early, forces Hein to look away, and Hein wants nothing to do with this main building. Runs away right into another survivor. This is going to be Koenigsegg getting caught on the ace. Gets hit with the bottles here. Get a little bit of hindrance, but should be making the pallet. No, gets hit through it. The Pocos right there.
Oh my goodness, that was a really, really nice hit for Hein to start off. We always need as quick of a start as possible on Mr. Kenneth in a map like Grim Pantry, but alas, that chase on main building was never to happen. And I think we have some minor problems here. The brutal strength and the haste bottle should be enough to catch up to Koenigsegg before being able to make it to any other resources. I don't think we see what sometimes spawns a poglog, as I sometimes like to call it, towards the edge of the map. But that will be down number 1 of the trial onto Koenigsegg, and maybe a pain res early on. There should be a decent amount of pressure, from our 2 survivors that haven't been accounted for yet.
Yeah, and that is going to be a pain res. I got to start using that in my games, the poglog. But yeah, a very quick down from the Clown here. It's, even if you don't get a whole lot of gen pressure off of that, just having that early hook stage means so much on what many would consider to be a weaker killer like Clown. And we do have, I believe that is Swatter over at the Shack. Hein not really wanting to force the issue because a chase at Shack is not all that preferable. We do have a generator getting done off in the distance, and Swatter getting spotted, but Hein just wants none of it.
No, exactly right. We can still hear Swatter actually working on the gen right by where Hein is positioning, but you do need to get an elimination as early as possible, especially on a killer like the Clown. But it's really funny to see Swatter playing so aggressively for the gen. And we have someone coming in for the save, using the bottles to try and force the 1-for-1 and maybe get the second save. But Arushi is going to be able to get the save before Koenigsegg goes to second, and is going to be able to make it to the main building. So we're just going to have to count our eggs before whatever the saying goes, and take the pressure onto Arushi.
I believe the saying is don't count your chickens before they hatch, but this should be a hit onto Swatter. The sprint burst coming through. Or I think sprint burst. It looked like a sprint burst. Where you get the hit onto Swatter. This is just some good pressure on the survivors. We did have another hit of that pain resonance with the hook onto Arushi.
I feel like Heinz really put himself into a really good spot here with having Swatter and Koenigsegg still injured, probably going to work for gens. But what did you want to touch on, Will?
I mean, the thought is lost, but you are absolutely right. Hein has a really strong 3-gen here, plus the hook that he could kind of just camp out from this. He has so much just control from the middle of this map, because this mid map this is where the game is going to end. I'm calling it right now. It's going to be a 3-gen at the end, and it's going to come down to the wire. I don't know why I'm feeling so confident with my predictions, but Arushi going into that second stage any second here. There it is. We're going to get another kick onto this generator.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely massive behind though, and Swatter doing a beautiful job at keeping the pressure up on this very crucial gen that needs to get completed if this mid to late game is going to be somewhat tolerable at all for Eonix's Survivor team. Hello, Sashua. What are you doing in there? That is a very awkward spot to be getting caught out at. Was that just a head-on maybe that didn't come through in time? That's another fresh hook and another pain res.
I think that was just a failed attempt at a head-on. That was... Sashua, you can't be doing that!
Oh, no. Ooh!
It's another pain res onto that generator that was so close to being done. Short chase with Swatter to get that sprint burst out, and the survivors are absolutely making use of this main building here. Eonix they recognize Hein does not want to be here for any reason, and they're just using it as a safe space. And another generator gets completed. That isn't the one that we were so close to having done. That was a different generator. And Hein's spending a lot of time over here. Swatter's being left unattended on that one generator.
Yeah, I think it was just inevitable that Swatter was going to be getting that one done, but Chase is going to be going towards the main building where Sashua and Arushi were both positioned, and I'd have to assume that would be... Oh, there's the head on. Getting a bit of retribution. Sashua will hit the head-on and delay the chase onto Arushi just a bit longer. And in the background, that objective is getting cranked out as there is only one gen remaining.
Yeah, we do have the continued chase onto Arushi, trying to force a 3v1. Arushi is dead on hook, but chasing around main building is such a struggle for most killers, and Heinz just not getting anything done right now.
It really brings into question, obviously you do need to get that elimination in order to make it a bit easier to hold that 3-gen towards the end, but yeah, we're going to be seeing Heinz actually dropping the chase here to check up on the gens, as we've left this gen on the dock unaccounted for a bit too long. And there it is. Yeah, we need to get that no-ed value and get some first stages and give up on the chase on Arushi.
Yeah, Arushi did a really good job there, just wasting as much time as possible. The sprint burst comes through from Swatter to kind of mitigate that fall, but no-ed is even stronger. Swatter goes down, and I think this is the first hook onto Swatter, and it's going to be a basement hook as well.
Wow. What a lovely spot to have your fresh hook being placed. I do imagine that the no-ed totem might be a little bit more difficult to find, knowing that it is Grim Pantry after all, and it might just be a case of taking the escapes that we can get, as Swatter is going to be dying in that basement with 3 survivors going out the door, I believe, for a total of 7 or 8 stages. The spectator bug obviously showing 12 stages, but unfortunately we didn't quite accomplish that in this trial. 7 stages for Team Calamity, with all the gens getting done on the survivor side.
I mean, I just really want to highlight Arushi there, because that endgame does not happen without Arushi just taking that chase so well at the main building. If Hein drops that chase sooner, or if Arushi goes down, that is such a different mid to late game. But it's 5 gens, 3 outs, 7 stages. A really good performance for Eonix, and 7 stages for Calamity is also nothing to scoff at. It is going to be something that Volga has to work for in the next round. We'll be right back after the break.
Alrighty, welcome back everyone to the Grim Pantry, where this time we're going to be seeing Volga on the Clown for Team Eonix, and I don't think we really had a discussion of what the win con is supposed to be looking like, but we saw 7 stages for Fresh in the last trial, so if Volga could beat that, then that would be the 2-0 win for Eonix, but I'm sure the survivors of Calamity aren't going to let it slip that easily, positioning obviously near the main building for these first early chases in the heart of the Corrupt, and trying to just waste as much time as possible. Lactron is going to be taking up the first chase and should be able to just make the window. Wow.
Yeah, Volga goes for the lunge there, an ambitious lunge at that, doesn't quite make it, and Volga makes the right decision, decides to leave the main building, leave the Corrupt, go for someone else, and that is a very early pre-drop of the Shack pallet.
Yeah, well, they call it comp for a reason, mate. This is where the home of all the comp drops is going to be, and that was one of them for all time.
All I'm saying is that is the earliest pre-drop I have ever seen, but that was a very nice bottle onto Pedro, and now at this very unsafe pallet should just be the M1. Very nice hit, and we'll see if we can get the follow-up before Pedro can reach that main building. Looks like there's a chance. There's no pallet in sight, and Pedro goes down.
Yeah, once again, another fairly early down coming from both of our clowns. Really, really well played from both teams, and I wonder if this is going to be... It is going to be a pain rest hook to get things started. A gen yet to pop yet, but hold on, I gotta let the caster's curse kick in. We do hear a gen near the Shack about to be completed, as well as a gen in the little pantry with a decent amount of progress, as this is gonna be Hein on Jake taking the chase here at the Shack, and a swing and a miss. Not hitting those today, Volga, but unfortunately there's no Shack pallet to use, so this will be a tag onto Hein eventually.
Yeah, and this is why that super early pre-drop kind of concerned me earlier. We do have it's pretty much a free M1 onto Hein, and Hind just out in no man's land, not going to be able to get anywhere, and that is going to be another quick down. A generator does get done for it, though.
No, not just a generator, the reset coming out as well.
Yeah, and is this going to be a pain res? Yes, it is, and the generator right next to us gets blown up.
It's just some really scary pace, though, for Calamity survivors. Volga being able to get 2 pain reses off really early on. Fresh hook number 2. Obviously, Volga is going to want to go for these fresh hooks, but does need to outscore 7 stages in order for the Eonix win. But I'm sure this is still a very recoverable position for Calamity, though. We have all of the survivors healthy and either working on gens in the distance, or there might be someone getting in position to try and go for a rescue onto Hind, maybe just before second stage, like what we saw in the last game, but I'm eager to see it.
I mean, if you're Calamity, you're not too concerned, because Volga doesn't have the same positional pressure that Laser did in the last round. Like, yes, you are in line of sight of some generators, but it's nothing crazy. And it's not... The sight lines aren't as available, and the distances are just a little too much to thoroughly pressure the survivors of Calamity. Hind does go second, though. There is no save, and we do have a chase onto, I believe it is going to be Laser.
Yeah, Laser going to be juicing up at what looks to be his swamp variation of the 4-lane tile. Going over towards the shack, though, but thankfully the shack pallet has already been dropped and is not mind-gameable, thankfully.
Yeah, and we did have the unhook onto Hind coming in just a second too late for that second stage. We do have the hit onto Laser, and he's going to be booking it straight towards the main building. Volga looks like he wants to follow. I don't know if this is the right move to get a quick down. We do hear the generator above us with a lot of progress on it, so there might be another survivor here that you're disrupting.
There's a very good chance of it, and hello! Oh no, Hind!
That is a tragedy for Calamity, because Hind's dead on hook. You're going to be down a survivor now for the last 3 generators, and yes, that main generator was very close to be completed. Never mind, the survivors just have gen pressure across the board, because that main generator should be getting done very soon, and this one's also very close to being done.
Oh, and they do manage to just get it out in the nick of time, but a 3v1 with 1 gen remaining, even though the gen setup that we have at the moment doesn't really look like it's super defendable as a very basic M1 killer with a funky power here. But we are going to be spotting out Laser, though, who is our only injured survivor. This will be good news for Volga, not so much good news for Calamity as we get this next down, and what could be another pain res, but that final gen is getting doubled out. If that back hook at main building is a pain res, it could stop the final gen.
It's not in time, though. And it was a pain res, it just wasn't fast enough. But here at this point, now you have the Noah to play with. You should know where the survivors are trying to position. Lactrin just going straight into the basement doesn't want to risk being caught.
If Volga found Lactrin then and there, that would have been it. That would have been kudos to Calamity.
So, just getting the scoop from behind the scenes. If Laser dies and everyone else gets out, it's 3 fresh versus 4 fresh, and Calamity will take the win on the set.
So they don't actually have to go for the rescue in this scenario, but they do.
They do anyways, and no, it hasn't been exposed yet, but I'm sure someone has spotted that totem at this point. Probably called it out like, hey, there's a Noed. Laser getting on the door, and Pedro wants to go for the totem, but gets caught out instead. And there should be the down onto Pedro.
Yeah, but Volga knows Pedro's not going to be enough to meet the win con. The door gets opened by Laser. We still don't know where Lactrin is just yet. No one on the totem. We need to find
We just saw Lactrin.
Uh-oh. Oh, no. There it is.
We just saw Lactrin, and the kill onto Lactrin, I believe that would be 8 stages plus 4 fresh, so that should just be the win for Eonix at this point.
Yeah, that's right. And another fresh hook in the basement in the end game with no ed active in a very similar spot. Dare I say a scripted totem spot. Very easy to spot out, but the survivors know that they can't get that rescue.
And that's the win for Eonix.
They did it?
Like, I want to wait for confirmation before I start saying all the congratulations and everything, but...
8 stages, 4 fresh gets there.
Yeah,
Wow.
Okay. It looks like
Eonix
Eonix is taking the win here by a single hook stage. And my prediction was right. Let's go.
That's the takeaway from this whole thing. Will got the correction right, and honestly, I'm super happy about it.
And I'm super happy that Eonix is continuing their run through the lower bracket. However, that is going to be the end for Calamity. This was the losers bracket. Loser here is eliminated. So Calamity, they had a really good run. They took a set off of Eternal in the winter semis, but this is where their journey ends, and that is going to be it for Calamity. Did you want to say anything, Spoker?
I just wanted to sort of touch up a bit on Calamity's performance at the tournament as well, but you summed it up perfectly. They had some really nice wins early on in the winners bracket, knocked down by Eternal, but still managed to take a set as well, and had a really nice matchup here with Eonix as well. Even though it was a 2-0, it can't really fully accurately represent how close the games really were. So a big congratulations to Calamity and a big thank you for participating. But there is still one more game, one more matchup between Tremor and Eternum, which will be the final match for round 4. Now the winner will be facing against Eonix to earn a spot to fight against Eternal.